Good evening, my loves, and welcome back to Bedtime Stories with Mommy J. And we're continuing with The Day My Butt Went Psycho, based on a true story by Andy Griffiths. And tonight, remember we left off where they were talking about the great white butt. And please excuse my hair. I am getting it done right now, but nothing will stop me from Bedtime Stories with Mommy J. All right. So what are we going to do? Said Zach. We gotta find that butt Kano and plug it up as soon as possible, said the smacker. Let them stew in their own juices. Give them a taste of their own medicine, roared the kicker, who had red cheeks now instead of dealing deathly white pallor of a few minutes ago. Eleanor nodded. I agree, she said. Count me in, said the kisser. Me too, said Zach. Said Eleanor. Not you, Zach. We're dropping you off at the nearest butt shelter. This is a job for professionals. But what about my butt? Said Zach. What about it? She said. It's my butt, said Zach. I want it back. I know it's a bit out of control right now, but I'm kind of attached to it. Not anymore, you're not, said Eleanor. What you need is a prosthetic butt. A what? Said Zach, but Eleanor didn't answer him. Instead, she turned around and flung open the lid of one of the padded bench seats that ran along each side of the buttmobile. She rummaged around in the compartment underneath the seat and pulled out a butt. A clear, wobbly silicone butt. She threw it to Zach. Here, she said, try this. It's a bit big, but it'll do until you can get properly fitted. But I don't want a false butt, said Zach, throwing it down onto the floor of the buttmobile. I want my real butt. Don't be an idiot, said Eleanor. Real butts are nothing but trouble. Sooner or later, you're going to need to go to the bathroom, and I guarantee you're not going to care what sort of butt you've got. She's right, said the smacker, picking up the butt and gently putting it back in Zach's hands. We've all got falsies. They're the safest and the best. Take the butt. You'll need it. I still think I should come with you, said Zach. No, Zach, said the smacker. Eleanor's right about that, too. A butt Kano's no place for a civilian. For anyone, for that matter. The odds are against us, but we all had years of experience fighting butts. With a bit of luck, we could tip the odds back in our favor. But not with you there, Zach. I'm sorry. Maybe you're right, said Zach. He gripped the false butt and kneaded it back and forth in his hands. He knew that what Eleanor and the smacker said made sense. But deep down, he still felt responsible for all the trouble his butt had caused. It didn't feel right to just do nothing. Butt shelter ahead, announced the kisser. Beginning descent. Seatbelts on, everybody. The kicker, Eleanor, and Zach sat down and belted themselves in. The boatmobile dived at a steep angle. Zach could feel his ears popping. He could see through the front windshield that they were headed towards an enormous stainless steel dome with the number 5 painted on the top. A little to the left of it was a landing pad. Zach sat back in his seat and prepared for touchdown. The kicker was bending over, pulling his laces tight. Any butts try anything while we're down there? You'll know what I do, he said. Kick their butts, said Eleanor. The kicker golfed and slapped her name. You've got it, he said. Then, looking at Zach, his smile evaporated. He said, and if I see any butt sympathizers, I'll kick their butts too. I'm not a butt sympathizer, said Zach, feeling scared again. The kicker could kick butts, that was for sure. He just wished the kicker would stop threatening to kick his. Buttmobile BH007 to Shelter 5, the kisser said in his handset. Permission to land requested. Over. The kisser waited and then repeated his request. That's odd, said the kisser. What's the matter, said the smacker. I'm not getting any response, said the kisser. The radio is jammed, but there must be people inside the shelter. The brown flag is up. Land anyway, said the smacker. We better check it out. Roger, said the kisser. There was a hissing sound, and the buttmobile began to descend. The buttmobile jolted to a stop. Uh-oh, said the smacker. Looks like we've got a welcoming committee. Zach looked out the window. The buttmobile was surrounded by a group of mean-looking butts armed with butt trumpets. No wonder we've been having trouble getting through on the radio. They've been jamming it with high-frequency emissions. Leave them to me. Eleanor crossed the floor to a large black cabinet and opened it. Inside was the most amazing arsenal of butt-hunting weaponry Zach had ever seen. There was every sort of butt-fighting weapon imaginable. Butt guns, spear guns, harpoons, stun guns, and long pointy sticks. Some of the most deadly of all butt fighting tools. But were butt magnets, butt shields, fluffy pink toilet seat covers, toilet brushes, soaps and plastic holders, clothespins, rolls of sandpaper hanging on ready to roll dispensers, and a full range of deodorizers and disinfectants. Eleanor replaced her butt blaster in the rack and selected a smaller gun with a larger round barrel, a Constipator 240. Zach recognized it as a clogger. He knew they were good for inhibiting enemy fire. Eleanor clipped it to her belt and pulled down something that looked like a leaf blower. That looks like a leaf blower, said Zach. That's because it is, said Eleanor. You can fight hundreds of butts at a time with the leaf blower. It's also good for cleaning up and clearing the air afterward. Eleanor slung the leaf blower across her shoulder and draped a rack of rubber butt plugs across her chest. Hold it, said the kisser. Let me handle this. Eleanor looked slightly disappointed. Are you sure? She said. Yeah, said the kisser. No point in using ammunition if it's not strictly necessary. Besides, I could do with the exercise. Well, if you insist, said Eleanor. Oh, but I do, said the kisser. He stood up, applied some fresh lip gloss, and brushed down his suit. Good luck, said Zach. Never fear, he said over his shoulder as he climbed out of the Buttmobile. The kisser's here. Zach locked the hatch and then sat back down in the cockpit. He watched the kisser approach the circle of butts. They saw him and turned. The kisser bowed very low. So low his head almost touched the ground. The butts moved in around him, but the kisser made no attempt to escape. Instead, he did something very strange. He began to dance. Zach watched with a mixture of confusion and amusement as the kisser gyrated his hips and swayed from side to side in front of the butts. But as the kisser danced, an even stranger thing began to happen. The butts, as if mesmerized, began to dance with him. They moved slowly from side to side, mimicking his movements in a sort of clumsy grace. Then, without stopping his dance, the kisser began motioning to one of the larger butts to come to him. At first it seemed hesitant, but slowly, almost against his will, it crept forward until it was close enough for the kisser to touch. The kisser then reached out and tickled the butt under its arm. And we're going to stop right there, my loves. All right. And remember, that was chapter 3, I believe 3C. Okay? Well, make sure you guys say your prayers, brush your teeth, and have many sweet dreams. Hugs and kisses. Love you. Mwah.